What's going on? It's your host, Moses Andre, back at it again. The Value Menu Podcast, where value is served at no expense to you. We got a very special guest in the building today, man. This is going to probably be one of the best episodes. I'm not even going to lie. Probably going to be one of the best episodes. Heavy in the real estate game, from New Jersey. Give him a brief introduction of who you are, man.
What's going on? Thanks for the intro.
Absolutely.
And I don't think probably I'm going for Tubi. You know what I'm talking about? I'm sorry. I just like to, speak confidence. I like to manifest things.
Yeah.
But yeah, my name is Naeem Boucher. Born and raised in Patterson. You want to give me the full summary, or how you want me?
Yeah, you can give him the full summary.
Born and raised in Patterson, New Jersey. My grandma, came to Patterson, with my mom, and then my mom met my dad, and then things didn't really work out. Long story short, my mom ended up being a single mom with 5 kids. My dad was in jail when I was younger. Eventually, he got out, and then we built a relationship. But I just always remember growing up, having adversity. Right, growing up in Patterson, New Jersey. I mean, I know you're from Patterson as well, so I'm sure that you can relate.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't even want to say that we were poor, but we struggled. Like I seen my mom struggled. And when you come from that environment, and you can there's no telling where life could take you. And luckily I got into soccer. My mom forced me into soccer because she ended up remarrying, and then I had a stepdad, and then my stepdad he was a soccer guy, so that's how I got into soccer. Soccer kept me off the street, so because of soccer, I went to my high school for soccer. I went to my college for soccer. But the thing about that was, when I was playing, I always hated it, right? Because when I would go to play soccer, I used to get made fun of. I was the only black kid on the team. And they would say, "Naeem, you're black and you play soccer?" Right? So I was to come home, I used to hate it, right? Because I'm living in the middle of the hood, right? And my friends, they would laugh at me. But I stuck with it. My stepdad and my mom, that didn't end up working out. He ended up leaving. And then my mom, had to hold it down, and I remember there was times where she couldn't pay the bills, or she would struggle, or she was gone, and she would leave $20 on the table, and then with that $20 we would get pizza, cut it up into 20 slices with my siblings. So I just remember a lot. I can go all and all about the stories, man. Just the adversity, man. I'm talking boiling hot water.
Man. Listen, I'm here with you.
But thankfully, soccer, like I said, it kind of put me into a good high school. I went to St. Benedict's Prep, one of the top high schools in the country, but I wasn't the best.
Yeah.
All right. So imagine it's going to the number one high school. They actually won number one this year.
Yeah.
But I wasn't the best. Mm-hmm. And my mom was counting on me to go pro in soccer. So going to this school, knowing that I'm not the best, so I had massive pressure, right? And they cut me freshman year, they cut me sophomore year, they cut me junior year, and they even cut me senior year. I went back to my dorm room, they had dorms, and I cried. And I was going to quit, and I told mom I'm going back to Patterson. She was like, "No, you got to stay." I picked up wrestling as well, and the only reason I got into wrestling was because I was angry. But I used that anger and I challenged. I became an All-American by the time I was a senior.
Damn.
And I was number 5 in the country and number 2 in the state. But they cut me senior year when I was trying to, just be a soccer player there because I wanted to go pro. That was my thing. But then they ended up calling me up for one game, and I played one game because I went to JV, scored 25 goals, and then I played one game for varsity and I scored. But the story with that is I was never good. And a lot of people can't say that they played for that college, and I could have, not the high school, and I could have quit. I could have went back to Patterson, gave up, and went to go play for JFK. Nothing against JFK or Patterson Eastside, and I would have been a star. But I stuck through. I had persistence. I wasn't the best, but I stuck through. So that was like a life experience for me, right?
Yeah.
That I don't even know.
Mm-hmm.
Went to college, got my degree in college, and then I actually played all 4 years in college. I was a stud in college.
Yeah.
And then after college, I kind of hit rock bottom. And what I mean by rock bottom is I graduated, I didn't go pro, but I started coaching soccer. And when I started coaching soccer, then I started enjoying my money. I was making $30,000 a year.
Yeah.
But I didn't have any financial literacy, and I found myself, about living paycheck to paycheck. I went to go live with my mom, and then my mom ended up leaving her apartment, and I was there, and I had to get my first apartment, and then I had student debt, had first rent, and then I had credit card debt. She left the light bill in my name, and then now I'm living paycheck to paycheck. And then, you know, I learned financial literacy. I got into real estate, and I kind of went all in real estate. Now I'm going quick with it, but then, I mean, all of a sudden, you know, because of my will to never quit and give up, now I'm one of the top realtors in New Jersey. I have a team, one of the top teams in New Jersey. I own multiple investment properties, over $2 million worth of real estate, and I'm only getting started. And I know I kind of summarized
only
and went
getting
through,
started.
but yeah, man.
Yeah, that was a lot. I was gonna say, when you was on your soccer team, it's almost like you was a double minority a little bit.
Yeah.
Cause you was the only black kid on the team, and you're a black kid. I mean, you was the only nice kid, or you was the only nice black kid?
What do you mean nice?
Like, were you the best on your high school team?
On my high school team, no. I wasn't the best on the high school team. I mean, I went to go play freshman, you know, for the freshman team. Then when I was on a JV team for sophomore and junior year, I was one of the best. But, you know, we're talking about varsity. Who cares about JV or freshman? None of that.
Right.
But no, I wasn't the best.
Okay.
But I was good, though. You know, like, trust me. There's people that was on that varsity team that weren't better than me. Yes, I said it. I should have been on the team. I'm still holding that grudge.
Hey, he's still holding that. He's still holding it.
But it's all good. That's all good.
But now sometimes some of those, like, challenges that we face young, a lot of people don't take those as lessons, like life lessons, right? Yeah. Especially like just reevaluating like what goes on in like your actual personal life and say, yo, I could learn from that.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like Michael Jordan got cut, right? I think from his high school basketball team, and now he just grew to become one of the, if not the best basketball player ever. So definitely, I like to say use the pain, right? Use the pain to your advantage. Mm-hmm. And that's obviously what you did, right? You used the pain from, you know, your upbringing.
Absolutely.
Right? And you made something of yourself, right? You say you're the top realtor of, you know, New Jersey, or you one of the top realtors, right? You got investment properties. You learn from not being financially literate, right? You learn from it. And not having a history, a background of financial literacy, and you educated yourself, right? So I definitely applaud you on that. Would you say that coming from that kind of background, that kind of adversity motivated you? Is that like your motivation?
Hell yeah.
Okay.
You know, extreme motivation, you know, because when I was young, you know, and my only way out was thinking about becoming a pro soccer player, right? And all I knew at the time was the pro soccer players, they're pro soccer professional. They must make a lot of money. They do well, you know, and it's so like I've always wanted to be successful. I've always wanted to be, you know, something. I've always had that in me. I just didn't know how. I didn't know what I was going to do, but there was always something in my mind saying that I wanted more for myself. You know, like I wanted more for myself. I always wanted it. And even now to this day, my number one motivator still is just going back to where I used to be, you know, because I don't want to ever go back to that place. I know where I come from. And so it's like, if I'm not growing, I'm dying. Right. So I got to keep going. I got to keep climbing. I'm never content. Like it's almost a gift and a curse. All right. But yeah, man, it's a motivator. It's always been a motivator, still to this day.
A lot of people get comfortable, right? You don't seem like you're one of those people that like comfortability.
No, that's my number one secret. You know, like my number one secret is I'm always uncomfortable. I purposely make myself uncomfortable. You know, and I use that as a way to go, a way to grind, right? And that's on many levels. After I left college, and when I went to go move with my mom, that had to go get my first apartment. I was living paycheck to paycheck. So what I did was, all right, I gotta change the situation. So what I did, I made myself uncomfortable. I went to go live in my grandma's attic. All right, there was mice and roaches, you know, and sometimes in the winter it was cold. You know, I had to get one of those space heaters, so I was uncomfortable. But then I used that uncomfort to grow. So I was able to save my money. I was also driving a hoopty. People used to laugh at my car. I remember my ex-girlfriend, she laughed at my car. Her dad laughed at my car. And then, you know, but I was able to save. I emptied my bank account and bought my first property. All my money gone, right? So now imagine that, right? Living in an attic, all the money I worked so hard for. I was substitute teaching. I was working at I was coaching soccer. I was working at the mall at the sneaker store, and I was just saving all my pennies to buy my first property. Then I got the second property, and then I got my real estate license. Right, all this, I'm still living in the attic. And then things started to change. Then I finally went, and then I quit my full-time job. How I qualified for my properties, I got rid of that income, and you need 2 years of constant employment to qualify for the mortgage.
2 years of W-2s, right?
2 years of W-2s. Mm-hmm. So I quit the soccer, which was my main income source. I wasn't a good realtor. I was going to become a cop or do something like that. But my lender said, Naeem, you can make more money to invest more into buying assets if you become a better realtor. He said, quit the soccer. Everyone's telling me quit the soccer. So I quit the soccer. And now I'm afraid. Because I wasn't a successful realtor, right? So what happens now? I'm uncomfortable again. So I put that fear behind me. So now I had to become a better realtor. I had to. I had no choice. It was sink or swim. And it was either become a cop, right, and have a salary, and nothing against cops. But I went driving one day in Patterson. I saw a cop in the snow directing traffic. And I was like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to be coach. So when I quit the soccer, I had to become a better realtor. So I started walking and talking like I was the best, and I overcommitted, I over-delivered, and I would learn from the best. And I was locked in from morning to night. I still got videos of me at my computer desk talking to clients, like figuring everything out. And man, listen, and that 6 months later, I sold $10 million worth of real estate, made my first 6 figures, and then the following year after that, sold $15 million worth of real estate, and then the following year after that, sold $47 million worth of real estate, and then the following year after that, which is bringing me to where we are right now, $80 million worth of real estate sold, and I'm only getting started. Damn, I got goosebumps. Woo! And that all came from being uncomfortable. And even now to this day, right, when I am selling real estate and I'm making money, right, whatever, I get rid of the money. I'm broke. How do I get rid of the money? By investing into an asset. Yeah. Investing back into my business. So I don't got no money. I'm broke. I'm uncomfortable. So that means I got to go out and go get me some more money so I can then go and invest it. That's the recipe. You got to learn the skill. You got to learn how to make money, and then you got to learn how to make your money make money for you, and then you rinse and repeat. Once you have that.
I think you forgot something, though. I think you forgot actually realizing that you're the initial asset.
Absolutely.
You realized that you were the initial asset.
That right there is a massive gem. Let me give you a pound, my brother. Absolutely. The first investment that you have to make is in yourself. Right? Let me slow down, because when I was in that attic, you know what I was doing a lot of? Reading. I was reading a lot of books. The book that changed my life, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. That was the book that I read. It absolutely changed my life. The light bulb went off. I said, oh my God, this is how I'm going to do it. If I can just buy one house and have that house make me $1,000 a month, and then just do that 10 times, that's $120,000 for the year. That's 6 figures passively. Passive. All right. And I was 23 at the time when I read the book. I said, by the time I am 30, I want to make that amount of money passively. And I read that book, then I read another book, then I read another book, I was just reading, invested in myself, going to seminars, right? Invested in myself, right? Learning from the top realtors. I'm learning. I would pay to learn. I'll pay it. Like, if you're somewhere, I want to learn from you. If you, that's the secret. And then now, as you investing into yourself, you're reading these books and you're listening to podcasts and you're getting the knowledge, getting the information. Now the value is in you. And then now no one can take that ever away from you. Then you just go out and you just execute. That's a bar. That's a bar right there. So I just wanted to get into, so what made you choose real estate? Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
So the book.
I did like 5 links when I was in college. I did like Prime America once, right? Like these MLM companies, right? But here's so I always kind of had like hustler drive like in me. And then when I hit rock bottom, my barber, he was cutting my hair, and then he was talking about personal development, right? And then he said, I'm like, what's personal development? He's like, man, listen to no Jim Rohn. So I said, who's this guy named Jim Rohn? So then I searched him up, and this guy named Jim Rohn, he's personal development. He's a GOAT. He's a god. If you don't know him, look him up. And I downloaded all his audio tapes. Before, I used to ride around in my hoopty listening to, right, like, I don't know, hip-hop, whatever it is that I'm listening to. Like, you know, I like my hip-hop. Lil Baby, shout out to Lil Baby, out the mud. But I changed the content I was consuming during that time I needed to grow. So I started listening to Jim Rohn, and Jim Rohn said, how are you going to change your future if you never even picked up a book? Life's best kept secrets are in books, right? And if you do nothing today, nothing changes tomorrow, right? You got to have that I've had it moment, right? That like, I'm sick of this, right? And if you don't never get that moment, then you're going to stay exactly where you are. And I've had that moment. I remember to this day when I was living in the attic and I had my hoopty outside my grandma's house. I woke up in the morning to go to work, and then someone broke my mirror. Someone shattered my mirror and tried to steal something out of my car. I got nothing. I'm the low side. I still remember the pain I felt. I sat on my porch, my grandma's porch, and I started crying, right? Because I didn't have the money to fix the window. Right, so that was like my I've had it moment, and then I started listening to Jim Rohn. I started observing his content. He said, you know, you never read Rich Dad Poor Dad, Richest Man of Babylon, and I said, man, I got nothing to lose. So I went and I ordered that book, Rich Dad Poor Dad, Richest Man of Babylon. Changed my life, and I'll give it to you right now. You're welcome. Poor people buy liabilities. Wealthy people buy assets. It's that simple. An asset is something that puts money into your pocket, appreciation value. A liability is something that depreciates in value and takes money out of your pocket. You buy a house for $200,000, right? The next year, that house probably going to be worth $250,000. And during the course of you owning that property, it's going to continue to go up in value, pay itself off. And if you buy it right, which is a multifamily property, it can make you money a month, like $1,000 a month. All right, you buy it once, and then it pays you and it goes up in value. You buy a car, right? You buy a brand new car off the lot for $100,000 or $50,000. I don't know. Go back and try to sell it the next day. Literally, don't do nothing to it. Buy it, go back and try to sell it the next day to a stranger. Depreciate it in value, right? And every month you got to do what? You got to pay the car payment. That's the liability. So poor people buy liabilities. Wealthy people buy assets. And they broke it down that simple. Then I just got hooked on, okay, what kind of asset? I fell in love with real estate. Got my real estate license. And then I just started buying assets. And I just started, I changed my name on Instagram to Mr. Real Estate. I was obsessed. You got to be obsessed with it. You see how I'm talking right now? I'm obsessed with this shit. And I would play pickup soccer with my friends, right? Because I play soccer, right? Like the men league. After scoring a goal, I would yell and say, who wants to buy a house? Right? I go to the bar, I talk about buying houses. Right? When I go to the family party, I talk about buying houses. Everywhere I go, I talk about buying houses. After this podcast, guess where I'm going? To a real estate event. I immerse my... You get what I'm trying to say? So, yeah, man. I know I'm on fire right now.
You're on fire.
Let me take my jacket off, man. You know, it's the olive green for me.
Damn.
It's the olive green for me. Suit Supply. Check it out.
Hats off. Yo, and you said something very important. Poor people buy liabilities. I don't know what makes people with lesser income addicted to consumerism.
You want to know what it is? Is this? Because we never had anything. We grew up never having anything, right? You go to school. I still remember people making fun of me because of my shoes, and you know, my high school roommate was Tristan Thompson, right? This guy used to get free sneakers. Shout out to my boy Tristan, man. Get free sneakers to basketball players, right? I remember, like, you know, people who come, like my friends who had, you know, two parents in the house, so they get whatever sneakers they want. I never had anything, right? So once I started making money, I was a victim of it. What I want to do, I want to start buying stuff for myself. I want to start treating myself. Gucci belt, Louis belt, my Vado watch at the time, right? I thought that was nice, right? Jordans, this Jordan, that Jordan, this Jordan, that Jordan, right? Getting all the latest, right? So because we never had anything, we start making a little bit of money. Then we start buying and blowing our money. We start buying and blowing our money to impress other people who are also broke, like us, right? And then we're just keeping ourselves broke. That's the problem. Right, that's the problem. And listen, there's nothing wrong with consumer like buying nice stuff. I like nice stuff, right? The whole thing is you got to have something paying for your nice stuff. You can't go to work and bust your ass working 9 to 5. I was making $100 a day substitute teaching, right? What sense does it make me working a whole full day, full 3 days, $300, right? To go then blow that on some sneakers. Just think about that. That don't make no damn sense. I just worked 3 whole full days substitute teaching kids that are bad. I don't want to say they're bad kids, but they were paying me no respect. All right, and I'm gonna go blow that whole check on some sneakers and a car payment and popping bottles and whatever else we're wasting our money. That makes no sense. But if you were able to delay gratification, save your money, invest your money, invest, and then let's say if you get to $10,000 a month in passive income, then ball out. I got my dream car, right? But when I got my dream car, which was the BMW i8 at the time, I wasn't paying for it. The car payment was $1,400.
Yeah.
One of my houses, the payment was one of the houses was cash flowing $1,500 a month. So the house was paying itself off. The money came to me, and then it was paying for my dream car.
Your asset was paying for the liability.
Yeah. So ball out, but just have something else paying for it. Don't go bust your ass to go pay for the stuff. No. Stay down, delay gratification, invest until you have your assets paying for the life that you want to live. Have your assets pay for your liability. You don't pay for it.
I think that went over a lot of people's heads just now.
I'll say it slower. Have your assets. Invest your money into something that's going to make you money. And then if you're smart, there's something called compound interest. The money that you then invested is now making you money. Take that money and then reinvest that, because now it's going to compound interest. Now your money is making money, then that money is making money, and then so on and so on and so on and so on. Then when you get to a point where your money is making you so much money passively, ball out. Here's wealth. I'm going to simplify wealth for you. I want you to calculate how much is your rent, how much the car that you would like to drive, how much money you want to spend on eating out, how much money you want to spend per year going on a vacation, right? Factor in what your lifestyle expenses, right? And let's say if that is $5,000, right? $1,000 in rent, a $500 car payment, right? And the rest for food, eating out, I don't know. $5,000. If you have 5 houses that are making you $1,000 a month, you are wealthy. We're not even talking about, right, whatever you make from working your 9 to 5, that now all goes into your pocket. But if you can make $5,000 a month passively, you're wealthy. And if you're even more frugal than that, if your expenses is only $3,000 a month, then you only need $3,000 a month passively. It's on you. That is, if you want to be wealthy, that's the key, right? So you don't need to make $1 million a year. You don't need to make $10 million a year, right, to be wealthy. No, that, right? You can be rich but poor, right? And what do I mean by that? You can make $100,000 a year,
being paycheck to paycheck,
but living paycheck to paycheck. You got student debt, you got college debt, you got the big mansion, you got the this, right? If you making, let's say, $10,000 a month, but your bills are $10,000 a month, like you got to go to work for $10,000 a month, but you got to now. The $10,000 come, and then it pays the bills. You left with $0. All right, that's being rich, poor. You want to be wealthy. So I challenge you guys to stay locked in on that.
Damn. Oh man.
I try to tell you, man. I try to tell you.
This is one of them ones, man.
Listen, and the messed up part about it, I'm about to give you guys some. The messed up part about it is this: we didn't learn any of this in school. We didn't learn any of this in high school.
Of course not.
We didn't learn any of this in elementary school. And you want to know why? Because they're teaching us to work forever.
Maybe in private schools they teach this.
Maybe. But they're teaching us to work forever.
I don't think I'm gonna be honest. I don't think in high school I heard the word real estate once.
Me either.
I'm not even gonna lie.
Me either. I learned it out of college in a book that I stumbled across.
Yeah.
Right? Like it's a scam. It's corrupted. Like the whole thing's a matrix. Literally. We gotta go to school, right? And then get taught by people to be just like them. And there's nothing wrong. Listen, if you love what you do, more power to you, right? I would have just liked to have the option to know, right? When we have the information, then now we're able to make a logical choice of what I want to do with my life. I had no idea, right? So my point is, they didn't teach this stuff in school. They didn't teach it, and the sooner you find out, it would have been a better. Like, I'm angry the fact that I didn't know about this stuff. Right? Think about it. Back in the day, houses used to cost $50,000. Back in the day, all right. Now today, the average home value is probably like $400,000. So now, There's something called generational wealth, right? I told you guys about wealth, but here's generational wealth. Back in the day, the person who bought the house for $50,000, right? We weren't doing it, but the people who, I'm not even getting to that. It's a whole nother conversation.
Right.
But they bought a house for $50,000, then they died, then they passed that house down to their grandkids, right? And then now that $50,000 house is now worth $100,000, right? And they're still making the money, and then they pass that down, and then they pass that down, right? So that's called generational wealth. Right, generational wealth. You hear about it all the time, right? Trust fund babies and all that stuff like that. I wasn't given anything. Nothing was passed down to me. I'm not sure if something was passed down to you.
Nothing.
So we getting it right out the mud, right? So we're late to the party. Now, if we want to buy a house, that same house that was passed down and passed down and passed down to somebody, he's sitting on a $500,000 house. He had to do nothing for it. We gotta put down 20% down, try to get a loan, do all this, do all that. We probably won't even qualify. The first house that I bought it for $200,000. $200,000. That house is now worth $400,000. When I was substitute teaching, they were only paying me $100 a month, right? I was making about $30,000 a year, right? Employment, how much they pay you is not going. It doesn't even add up to how property values are skyrocketing. Think about that. If you're making $12, right? If you're making $12 a month, not a month, an hour, I guarantee you stay at that job in 3 years, what? They're going to raise you to what? $14 an hour? Maybe. How are you going to buy that house? How are you going to buy that house that is now worth double than what they were 2 years ago? You're going to be stuck in a rat race forever. And that's how the generational wealth gap continues to grow and grow and grow. That's why the wealthier gets wealthier and the poorer gets poorer. And you don't even know. You don't even know what's happening because we're so focused on this dumb shit that we lost.
Not only that, but the value of the dollar is decreasing. So now the little money that we own is now worth less every year. Mm-hmm. Ain't that crazy?
Inflation. Tell you about inflation. I used to love going to the corner store. I used to go to my mom's pocketbook and get two quarters. Or I used to look in the couch, right, for 2 quarters. And I go to the corner store and get the 50-cent honey bun.
The 50-cent honey bun.
That honey bun is now $1.50.
$1.50.
$1.50, right? So 2 quarters, you used to be able to afford a honey bun, but now you need 2 quarters and you need a whole dollar. Value of the dollar. Everything's going up.
So I got a question for you. If someone, all right, they're hearing this, right? And they're motivated to get started, right? They're motivated to get their first investment property. What are some steps that you think they should take to do that?
You got to have good credit. Okay, so make sure you're taking care of your credit.
Okay. So financial literacy.
Right. All right, make sure you're taking good credit, good care of your credit. You need a down payment.
Yes.
All right. So whatever number you gotta.
That's another financial literacy.
That's another financial literacy. You need to get pre-approved with a mortgage lender.
Right.
Okay. There's something called the first time home buyers program. You're able to put down 3.5% down on your first house. You do not need 20%. You need to have stable employment history. Okay. Last 2 years have been employed. And then after that, you need to find yourself a knowledgeable realtor. If you are in New Jersey, Florida, or New York, holler at your boy. I'll get the job done. If you need anywhere, I know a lot of people everywhere, but you need a knowledgeable realtor, okay? And then once you have that, then you get pre-approved, then you know your budget, and then you kind of work backwards from there. Once you know your budget, you can then start looking at what kind of houses and what different areas that you can then afford and qualify for.
Okay. I think a lot of people are. So it's a lot of things going on, right? A lot of people. There's a lot of things going on in just social media. There's people telling people to rent and not own, right? Because they don't want to commit to a house, things like that. And there's also people who are scared of owning a home just because of the responsibilities that it comes with, right? So what do you say to those people, right? And how important is really home ownership?
Home ownership is massively important. It's massively important because if you rent, you're paying someone's mortgage. Why not pay your own? You know, you're gonna rent forever. You're gonna rent forever and never build any equity. Right? You're paying someone's mortgage. You might as well pay your own. You know, so you have to have some ownership. And right now, I rent. Okay, I rent right now. But here's the thing: I have multiple properties that are paying for where I rent, right? Because it's just me. I have no kids, you know. So, like I said, all my money goes to things that makes me money. So, my properties are paying themselves off and building equity, right? So I'm still getting equity, I'm still getting appreciation, and I'm still cash flowing. I think I may end up buying a condo just to kind of like use that money to then just pay off the condo and like just more compounding money, but that's something else. But yeah, man, you got to build equity. You want equity. That you got to build your net worth. You got to build your net worth. What are you worth?
I heard somebody say people are worried about interest rates going up, interest rate hikes, but not knowing that when you're renting, you're paying 100% interest.
Yep, absolutely.
People not scared to rent, but they're scared to own.
Yeah.
Speaking of interest rate hikes, did that deter you anyway into investing in properties, investing in more properties?
No, I just bought a house like 2 months ago. You know, during the madness, 3-family house, and it's still going to make me money. It's going to pay itself off, and yeah, I'm going to cash flow. So if it makes me money, it's a good deal. If the rates go down, I can always refinance and get a lower rate. If the rates go up, I'm going to be happy that I bought. But no, I'm still buying as long as the deal makes sense and it makes me money.
As long as the deal makes sense, I think that's what a lot of people don't understand. Like a structure of the deal, right? If it's cash flowing you, right? Just the numbers, like the whole number crunching. What does that process look like for you? Like, say you're looking at a property, right? What are some factors you look for? What are some, margins that you look for, profit margins, or if it makes sense?
For me, I don't overcomplicate it at all.
Okay.
For me, ideally, my number is I want to make at least $1,000.
Okay.
So let's say, for example, what is my all-in mortgage going to be, right? With principal and interest, the taxes, what is my all-in mortgage going to be? You can have a mortgage lender, quote you, hey, this is the house, what's the mortgage going to be, right? And let's say it's $3,000, all in, $3,000 a month. That is my mortgage. Now, keep in mind, there's other expenses that you got to factor in, like vacancies or like the occasional repair that needs to get done, landscaping, right? PCNG, right? But let's just make this simple: $3,000 a month. And if you're able to bring in a gross rent of, let's say, $4,500, let's say if it's 3-family property and it's 3 bedrooms on each floor and you're getting $1,500 each floor, right? $1,500. That's what's that? That's $4,500. $4,500 minus the $3,000, right? $4,500 is your gross rent. Minus the $3,000 mortgage, you're left with $1,500 a month. Cash flow. Cash flow, right? And then you delay gratification. I know it's your first house. Don't get excited like I did and go and buy my dream car. You leave that money in the cash account and you let it pile up. If something breaks with the house pays for the repairs. Okay, you let that money pile up. You're still working. Keep building the house account, keep building your own savings, and then you take that money, you take the other money, then now you go get the next house, and then you rinse, repeat, right? You want to delay gratification and stay focused,
You keep emphasizing that delayed gratification. Go deeper on that.
I'll go deeper on that. If I would have, I delayed gratification when I was in the attic when I was driving hoopty, and because I did that, I pushed my wealth further, right? And then when I had, my 2 houses, I was making decent money. I was very confident. I then went and got my dream car, right? I leased it. The payments was $1,400, and that the car actually made me money. But let me just give you guys an example.
Okay.
The money that I was making went to go pay. I put money into the car, right? $1,400 a month. I also went on. I enjoyed myself by buying me a nice bust down Rolex, right? I went to go live in a nice luxury lavish apartment. So I spent a lot of money, right, on my just in my car and the apartment where I was living. I think I was paying maybe $6,000 a month. $6,000 a month, right? But keep in mind, I had passive income, and I was also making decent money. So I'm like, whatever, you know. But had I delayed gratification, right, and not got my dream car, and not went and rent that in that apartment, because I'm not there now. I don't have that car now. I could have used that money to do what? Make me more money. Right, so had I delayed gratification, I'd be even more wealthier. But there's that saying about having balance. Yeah, you got to enjoy your life, and trust me, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. I don't regret it. But I'm just putting things in perspective that your money can bring you so much further. Right, like had I delayed gratification, I'd be even more wealthier. Then I ended up buying a Lambo. And I got rid of the Lambo. Right, but I could have used even that money to make me even more wealthier, So even I, throughout all my successes, right, I still find ways where I'm like, hey, I can delay to push myself further.
Delay, yep.
So I challenge everyone to, if you can, delay gratification and don't treat yourself until you have something paying for it. And just kind of create that habit.
For sure, and I think I've done that too myself, like. I want to say my first year in entrepreneurship, I made 6 figures, right? But I was living in my mom's basement.
Good.
Right.
Good.
So me, I'm kind of different. Like I come from a Caribbean household, right? And we're really frugal, like really, really frugal. And I kind of took some of those, like some of that mindset, and like kept to myself. Like I didn't go out, right? I don't even like jewelry.
Good.
I really don't like jewelry like that. And in my head, I'm thinking like, all right, if I have an economy car, I save more on gas, right? I'm just thinking of things that make sense. You get what I'm saying? But a lot of people aren't willing to do that because they want to flaunt it, right? A lot of other people want to use it for marketing purposes, right? And it's like, that doesn't mean anything to me personally, because I see all these rappers out here getting robbed for the same stuff that you get what I'm saying? For the same stuff that we want so much, right? Cars getting stolen there, right? I live in Patterson. My mom live in Patterson. Why the hell would I get an I-8 and sit in Patterson so somebody can take my car? I hear of people getting a Toyota stolen. You think I'm gonna park an I-8 right in their face, right? So I'm thinking of all these things. I'm like, yo, like you're saying, delayed gratification. I don't need it right now. At the time, I was like 22. I don't need an I-8. Right, even though that was the car I wanted at the time, but like I'm like, all right, I don't need an I-8. My car, Infiniti, I had an Infiniti. I'm good for right now, right? I don't need a bust down at the moment, right? I don't need this, but people don't know how to differentiate wants and needs. That's the thing, right?
That's the thing.
So I'm glad you went deeper on that, because I feel like as a community, we got to learn how to do that.
We got to learn.
We got to, because that's one of the bridges to the wealth.
It is the biggest. I think it's the main one. And like I shared this, right? Like I bought a Lambo, right? That's the top, right? Kid from Patterson, New Jersey. I used to live in Attic with Mices and Roaches, driving a hoopty. Bought a Lambo, right? But 2 months later, after buying that Lambo, I went to one of my mentors' house. And he told me that he just bought like the 12-unit building, cash, right? And here I am, like, I got a Lambo, right? And I just felt stupid, right? Because this guy is wealthier than me. He don't care about my Lambo. He don't care. He's wealthier than me.
What he drive?
He just got a Porsche. I think he had a Porsche at the time. He had a Porsche, but I know he didn't care. Right? Who cares about the Lambo? People that, don't have one, right? But that can't afford one, So then I realized, like, I'm impressing people that, for lack of better words, like, are broker than me, But the people that are wealthier than me don't care about it. So and I want to be wealthier. And this car, I can get rid of it to make myself wealthier. So I got rid of the car, So once that moment hit for me, I was like, okay. I realized that I didn't want to be out there like that. I didn't. What matters most to me is just giving one less fuck. Excuse my language. And what I mean by that is, I sold a Lambo and I got on a contract on like three more houses. And there's a saying that I say, for every house that I buy is one less fuck that I give, because I'm buying my time back. Right? When you buy your time back, when you increase your passive income, right? You go from 1,000 a month to 2,000 a month to 3,000 to 4,000 to 5,000 to 6,000 to 8,000 to 9,000 to 10,000 to 11,000 to 12,000 to 20,000 and so on and so on. You keep like you get locked in on doing that. You don't care. You don't care about impressing anyone. If someone calls you broke, you don't care. If someone says your car look ugly, you don't care. If your boss tells you, hey, man, come in. Like, imagine making $10,000 a month passive when your boss and your boss who you make $30,000 a year from tells you, hey, you better come in or you're gonna get fired. I was like, what? Hell off my phone. You know, like, you don't care. So for every house that I buy is one less buck that I give, and I don't want to care. You know, I want to be on a boat somewhere next to the palm tree, sipping on a nice drink with my feet in the air, with all the passive income that's coming in. Right? That's what I want. Right? That's what I want. Right? When you start to increase your liabilities and your monthly expenses before you have all that in place, what'll start to happen is you start to care. Right, so I remember when I had the Lambo, and listen, I had passive income paying for it, but now I was caring a little bit more. Right, I was caring a little bit more. I climbed the ladder, and now I found myself. All right, I got, because I was so used to being in that grind mode, right? But like just put myself in a position where I gotta, work through it. But I don't gotta do that anymore. Like I had to do that. So I realized, like, I'm gonna get rid of that.
You don't gotta keep up.
I don't gotta keep up. I got nothing to prove to nobody. So I'm just gonna continue to, increase the passive income, and then once you do that, once you get to that place, you broke the matrix. You absolutely broke the matrix. You walk into a spot, you walk into an establishment, and you get to see things for what it is.
Right.
I can look at someone and say that person don't want to be there. He don't want to be, but I respect them because I was there. I used to wash dishes. I used to work at Papa John's Pieces, and I used to substitute teach. I worked at the sneaker store. All right, I was coaching soccer in the snow. I was there, so I know what it looks like being somewhere you don't want to be. So once you break the matrix, then you see how everything works. I know that you don't want to be there. Oh, I okay. Like you see who's flexing, right? You see everything, right? Like when you go to the club, right? When you go to the club and people popping bottles, and like I see it all, right? And even at my like family functions, or when you're at your you're talking with your friends, right? And even when you're talking with your friends, because your friends are still in the matrix,
right?
Nothing against my friends. I love my friends. But I know that they're trying hard to make a living, and I know that they're still in the matrix. Oh, I can't do this because I gotta go to work. Oh, I can't do this because I gotta. Then it's a lonely road. You're floating in this free zone. And the only thing is to find other people who also broke the matrix, all right? Because now we can talk about, hey, all right, oh, okay, what are you investing in? All right, like, what business are you working on creating now? Okay, it's different.
I think that's the best feeling about it, man. Like, buying your time back little by little.
Yes.
And slowly unlearning what society has placed into our minds since we got on Earth. Get it, go to school, get a job, retire at 67, live off whatever benefits you had, maybe, and die. Like,
and hope for Social Security. Listen, my grandma, I love her. She used to work at St. Joseph's Hospital. She walked to St. Joseph's Hospital, rain, snow, whatever.
Yep.
Back and forth. And she relies on her SSI. Luckily, she bought a house. She bought the house that she raised her family in. So she has that. But that SSI check, helps pay the mortgage. And my grandma doesn't really want for much. I went to her house and I paid her mortgage for the year. I was happy to do that, but I realized that she don't really want for much, but she cares about her family. But I would have loved for my grandma to travel more, do more. I know she shouldn't be waiting for no SSI check every month, after working 30 plus years at St. Joseph Hospital, and still at the same place where she was, So for me, I know that's not it. To be somewhere forever and still be at the same place,
Exactly.
for me that's not it.
It just didn't make sense.
So I love my grandma to death. I love my grandma to death, man, because her,
it's almost like, how did you grow this 30 years? Like, where did you grow, either mentally or financially?
No, yeah. So that put a lot of things in perspective for me.
That's it's the same for my father, actually. My father been working for the city of Patterson since he got to the country. Almost 29 years now, right? And he actually had to get a second job recently. So that just tells you, like,
game messed up.
My dad's 63 working 2 jobs.
Yeah.
That's one of my whys right there.
So it puts things in perspective, But I will always say this, like for my grandma, she needs anything, I got her. Yeah. I got her. I'm sure you the same for your parents, because they sacrificed so that we can have the chance. I'm Caribbean too. My family from Guyana. Yeah. So they sacrificed a lot for us to even be here to have this opportunity. It's just unfortunate for them. They didn't have the information. Yep. Just like we didn't. Yep. So luckily now, because of podcasts and books and all this and that, we have access to the information. So there's no excuse. And even when I was struggling, I was living paycheck to paycheck, it was on me. I wasn't mad at my grandma. I wasn't mad at my mom. I wasn't mad at my dad. I said, if I'm going to change my life,
accountability.
I got to change my life. No one's going to come save you. Yep.
So real quick, what's some mistakes in the industry, right, in the real estate industry, that you may have, mistakes or challenges that you may have ran into, that taught you like a lesson?
Well, when I was a realtor, I'm still a realtor. When I was a rookie realtor, first 3 years I didn't sell any real estate, and the reason why is because I was treating it like it was a part-time job. Right? I was treating it like it was a job, but like a part-time job. Right? I was coaching soccer and I was just trying to figure it out. Right? I would check my phone to see who's next. Right? I was treating it like a job. Once I learned that it was a business, right, I had to create systems and processes. Right? I had to learn to leverage. I had to invest in my business, invest in my brand. It completely changed. Right? It completely changed. Right? I hired my first assistant, and I just started just delegating. I started moving different, talking different, marketing, right, and just the whole thing changed. And then my business took off from there. So that was one of the original mistakes that I made. So if you guys are any realtors out there, I actually have an academy, link on my bio on my Instagram, where I kind of go over these systems and processes that you can kind of learn from my mistakes. But that was a big one. That was the big one that I made.
SOPs. Sheesh. That's big. As we wrap up, right, I like to ask every guest this, right? What's a goal? Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
I see myself in 5 years. I'll be 35 years old. I see myself having more property, multiple businesses, wealthier, obviously wealthier. But one thing that I am personally working on is just having better relationships, with, my friends and family. I want to see my loved ones around me winning. I want to help more people. I see myself making a massive impact in the world, with my story. And by doing that, I changed lives. So I know I'm going to change a lot of lives. And I'm going to be a household name. People are going to remember my name forever. I want to be a legend. Like Malcolm X, people remember him forever. Martin Luther King, people remember forever. One of my now goals is I want to be a legend. I want to be remembered forever. Like I want my story to live on. And I want to just help people before me, because there's someone that's out there who just wished to hear this information. Like I know that I wished when I was younger that I could have stumbled across this information. So I know that there's someone who's in a similar position that I was in the hood somewhere, that is just waiting for the information, and they're going to stumble across my page one day, and I'm going to be able to help them. Right, and I want to do that on a large, massive scale. But if you want a physical, like a physical visual of where I see myself, like on stage, speaking, living wherever I want, multiple vacations, whatever car I want, just doing whatever I want, freedom, massively free,
freedom,
but helping a lot of people and changing their lives.
That's what it's all about, freedom. Like you said, buying our time back. We buying the freedom, little by little, right? The work never stops, but the freedom eventually gets there. You get to that level, like, yo, I'm happy. Like, and happiness too, like just being like overall happy. Cause man, a lot of people are not happy. That's just the case, right? Mm-hmm. A lot of people depressed, and they tired of their situation. They don't want to be where they are. They want more for themselves, right? Just happiness and freedom, man. That's really what it's all about. And also, this might be off track. You said you don't have no kids.
No kids.
You don't have a lady friend?
I'm dating. I have a girlfriend right now. Yes.
Girlfriend. Okay. I was gonna say, cause like when you like at a level, sometimes it could be difficult, like in that area. So
it can be. It can be.
My last question. Well, it's not really a question. I want you to leave the audience with a gem that could 10x their income. Yeah, I know first of all, you already left a lot. You already left a lot of value. But I want you to leave them with that one gem that they could really like take home. Like, yo, wow, this is really like a game changer for me.
I have a lot. I'm trying to figure out which one. What would be a good gem to share? Like related to what? Like
it could be whatever. It could be real estate. It could be personal development. It could be financial literacy. Something that could help someone grow, either financially, mentally, or however.
Okay. All right. I'm like going through like the files in my brain right now.
Okay.
I would say. Okay, I'll give you guys a good gem. All right. When you're looking to buy your first house, right? When you're looking to buy your first house, remember how I said you can do 3.5% down on a house, right? Yep. Typically, you go and do that once. But if you buy right, and what I mean by right, if you get a property under market value, or if let's say you buy a 4-family first, right? More doors, more units. Okay, you do the 3.5% down, you buy right, or you just, you have it for, let's say, 1 year or so, you'll be able to refinance. Okay, so what I mean by refinance is you can refinance that first loan, which was the FHA loan, into a conventional. So you buy it as an FHA, and then you refinance it as a conventional loan in about a year or 2 years. All right, hopefully the year. If you buy right, you can do it within a year. Now, if you do that, okay, then you can do FHA again. All right, you can do FHA again now on a 3-family. Okay, and then you can do the same thing over again. Right, but when you do an FHA loan, you got to live in the property. All right, so let's make sure you live in the property, and then you do it right, and then you do the conventional, then you do FHA, you move to the next property, and then so on and so forth. So yeah, I was able to do the FHA loan 3 times. 3 times. 3.5% down. The first house that I bought for $160,000, right, then went up in value, right? That house is now worth $400,000. I was able to refinance that one into a traditional conventional mortgage. Then I did FHA on my second property, which was a $200,000 house, right? That house is now worth about $450,000. I refinanced that one into a conventional mortgage. And then I bought my next house 20% down. Then I didn't like that. So then the next house that I bought, I actually did FHA again on another 3-family property. So if you buy right and then you refinance out, you can, leverage. And the difference is this, right? So let me get my calculator out just so you guys can understand, right? Because you want to leverage. You want to leverage your money, right? You want to leverage your money. You want to have as little money into the game as possible. So a $400,000 house, because that's where today's market is, 3.5% down is $14,000. Right? So if you put 20% down, that's $80,000. Right? So look, you got $80,000 and you got $14,000, right? So it's easier to get in with the FHA.
Yeah.
Right? So if you can get in with little money, and let's say even if you did have $80,000, you want to stretch that $80,000 out. Right? You want to stretch that $80,000 out because now you got this house that's paying itself off, making money, and then you got another one and you want to leverage. So that right there is a massive gem that can help you leverage and build wealth.
That was big. I never heard that one. That was a good one. Damn. Sheesh.
Yeah, that was. And there's another thing that you can do, which is the Burr method. The Burr method. The Burr method one is that what I just told you, but on steroids, right? So let's say you buy a property for $200,000, okay, but this house is messed up, right? It's messed up, right? Because homes now are going for $400,000, right? So let's say you found one for $200,000, but it needs $100,000 worth of work. Now you get a loan for the $200,000. You can get a hard money lender. You only need probably like 10% down, so that's $20,000. You buy that one. They're going to give you the loan to purchase, so you're going to get like you put $20,000 down. They give you a loan for $180,000, and then they'll also give you the loan for the money to fix the house. So now you're all in, let's say $280,000, and comps are going for, as I said, $400,000. All right. So now what you're able to do is you can do a cash out refinance on the house. So let's say $400,000, you can loan up to I think 75%. Each bank is different. Right, so that's $300,000. Now you pay off the $280,000, right? They get their money back, and you're left with $20,000 because the $400,000, 75% of that is $300,000. So now you got a new loan for the $300,000, and you got a free house because you pulled your money out, and you got a free house, and you walking away with $20,000. Yeah, that might went over a couple people's heads, but Burr method. So you buy it, you rehab it. Then you rent it, and then you refinance, and you repeat. Burr method. That's that on steroids, and you can do that over and over again. You take the money that you used to buy the first one, right? You fix it up, then you pull your money out, then you get the next one, then you get the next one, right? That's wealth building on steroids.
Sheesh. Hey man, I just want to appreciate you for coming out, bro. You just gave like $1 million worth of game. I'm not even gonna lie, $1 trillion worth of game. Not even. So yeah, man. Damn. that was crazy. I don't know if y'all not listening to what this man just said. I think y'all gotta repeat that over and over to really understand what he just said. But yeah, man, I appreciate you for coming, man. It's the Value Menu Podcast where we give value at no expense to you. I'm your host, Moses Andre.
It's your boy Naeem Boucher.
Let's go. We out.
Let's go. Let's grow.